I was born into a Manly family from the start, the only girl among 4 boys. The first, Ryan, was born in 1990. The next 2, Taylor and Chase, followed each year after. Then a gap of 3 years, followed by the youngest brother, Chandler. Then 20 months later, me. At a young age, the manliness was not as evident. But now, when looking at a family photo, you will see 4 men, all of which are burly, bearded, and bout to hurt something. From the outside, you see what I describe as a mix of a cowboy and a lumberjack. The word squad describes my brothers when they walk into a room. Nobody would dare to approach them in fear of their lives. While on the outside they seem scary, on the inside the burly, bearded men are just cuddly bears. They possess hearts as big as the enormous elk they shoot every year, and every hug they hug is as a child would hug his mother leaving for the very first day of school. The age gap between the older boys and the 2 youngest created for different interactions and relationships between each sibling. Growing up in a manly setting began with many experiences with the youngest brother, Chandler. At the raw age of 4, Chandler began his hockey career. He looked somewhat like a toddler on Halloween in Montana as he prepared to go on the ice at Gallatin Valley Ice Garden, the place that most of my time was spent growing up, aside from home. Chandler's nerves got the best of him, and on the first day he was afraid to go alone. The then 3-year-old me said, "I'll hold your hand, Chandler." We headed out on the frigid ice, Chandler in his hockey gear and me in my polka dot tights. I stayed with him until he was comfortable enough to be on his own. Fast forward a handful of years. We were 2 scraggly, awkward middle schoolers, both coming in at 5'6" and 100 pounds, the summer of 2009. The 3 oldest and biggest brothers, much taller than 5'6" and significantly heavier than 100 pounds, spent a majority of their time being much too cool for us. Their time was spent with their high school and college friends, playing sports, making fun of us, and whatever else they did. My vision was so tunneled that I didn't even realize they existed. While they were busy, Chandler and I spent our weeks participating in sports camps and working out in fitness classes together. Our muscular trainer, Sean, would give us some ridiculous workout. Go, run a quarter of a mile, do 20 push-ups, 20 pull-ups, and then flip that tire 20 yards. Repeat 5 times. I would do my best to beat Chandler, because what younger sister didn't want to fight their older brother and win? Along with our fitness regimen, every Friday we would ride our bikes to our old school and back. We made it our goal to do the whole 3-mile ride without using our handlebars. This adventure led into evening baseball festivities. We would go into our yard and throw the baseball. 2 consecutive nights I got hit square in the head. "Oh my gosh, Jose, look at your head." "What? What's wrong?" "You have indented stitches on your forehead." I rushed inside to look in the mirror. Sure enough, on the center of my forehead, there was the exact indent from the baseball we had been throwing. Thank goodness the next morning I woke and the marks were gone. When Chandler and I were both in high school, he moved on from our daily rituals and hangouts, and he quickly became my designated driver. He drove me home from volleyball and basketball practice every day. The long 6-mile drive down Baxter Lane will always stir up many memories in my mind. The memories with Chandler include numerous times where I would be staring off into the field, and he would be sharing way too intimate details with me. The daily happenings of his girlfriend, followed by the weekend events I wanted to hear no part of. I felt as though a 14-year-old girl did not need to know the intricate details of a 17-year-old boy's life, relationships, and drama. I oftentimes tuned out what he was saying to protect my ignorance, but his words still sunk in. While I may not have wanted to hear his advice on relationships, the best way to sneak out of the house and the secrets of all his close friends, his tips and pointers got me past my ignorance for the next few years, especially when he went off to college. My relationship with Chandler changed as the top of the Bridger Mountains meet crests and saddles. Growing up, we spent almost all our time together, and as we have grown, our relationship has changed. We no longer spend the time together, but we make the most of the time that is shared. While a majority of my childhood was spent with him, my brothers as a whole have played a grand role in who I am today. They may be scary and intimidating from the outside, but they are my true teddy bears that I go to in times of need. The relationship I had with my brothers growing up was very distinct from my relationship with Chandler. But now, we all share a bond that cannot be broken. We continue to support each other through the many photos sent back and forth of hunting victories as well as life events. These photos and happenings are followed by many proud and sometimes sarcastic comments, showing the support and love. Growing up in a manly setting led to a life full of support, companionship, toughness, and above all, love.